box set up where the whole left side of the field was, there was no coverage guy there. So those guys got a little anxious in terms of not getting their bubble and their leverage right, and they went to go throw the block, and they were off by about probably 8 inches or so like that. And so when we look at those things, those are some of the things we harped on this week in terms of effort and execution and technique.
I know you had some good options at punt returner. What kind of made Ty John the guy you wanted to give the first crack to?
I think there's experience there. There's sure-handedness there. I know he's going to be able to catch it in the first game. That's kind of what tilted things in his favor.
How'd you think he did in the first game?
I think he did okay. I mean, obviously he was put in some stressful situations with some guys missing a couple of blocks, but he read where he was supposed to read and where he was supposed to go, so he was accurate in those things. His process was good. And as much as anything else in terms of football, everything that we judge as a coach is how is your process. The results may or may not work out that way, but as long as your process is right, more of the results are going to come your way or not. And I thought he did a good job handling the process that he's got to go through on each snap.
Your outside backers, how have you filled on them?
I thought they played really well. I thought we were able to affect the quarterback in his launch point and be able to get into his face and create havoc on there. Not only did we do that well, I thought we played the run in terms of being really physical at the point of attack. I'm sure some of those guys came away with some bumps and bruises on their sideline. So I thought we did a good job being physical and executing. The one thing that I was most pleased with was that I didn't see very many missed tackles. That's always a fear in terms of the very first game, being out there and not having a lot of live tackling experience. So I thought they did a really good job with that.
What have you felt about just how this team got back after the last few days?
They've done a great job. You know, one of the things that we're really fortunate to have, especially in my position group, is some upperclassmen with some leadership that have been through it before. While they were, I think, okay with how they performed, they weren't satisfied with the outcome. And that's still going to drive and motivate those guys to do better and better every single day and every single rep.
Nice to see Ferg have the kind of game that he had after what we've heard about his offseason work.
You know, it's just indicative of the work that he's put in the offseason. It's manifested itself out into the field. The discipline that he approaches the weight room with in offseason conditioning has correlated over to how he handles practice, and then what he does in practice ends up leading itself into productivity on the field. So to me, it's not a surprise for me. I expected him to be like that, to have those type of numbers, that production for him. And so in his mind, he's just got to stay working on the same thing and stay focused and do those things, which he's attacked really well.
How have you addressed the return game this week, and how important is it that you maybe try to find a spark, especially with some potential quarterback questions? Field position could really help you guys.
Yeah, well, I think in any game, special teams has got such a value to it in terms of being able to establish field position. I mean, I think in college football, you can get a return. If you can, after a kick, you can start the football. You can start your possession on the 29-yard line or better. You have a 75% more likely chance of scoring points on that drive. And so one of our goals is always to make sure that we try to get that ball out past the 25, out to the 29-yard line. That's the difference over the last 2 years for us, especially. When we get the ball to the 29-yard line, our scoring percentages shoots way up. As opposed to we only get the ball out to the 25-yard line, our scoring percentages go down. Just the nature of college football nowadays. So it's huge for us to be able to get those extra few yards anytime we can get them.
What was your takeaway, just your first game, full game coaching in that stadium?
You mean not just one play?
Yeah.
It's really cool. You know, and I talked about this a little bit earlier. One of the cool things about coaching in college football or coaching football in general is that there's always a moment, if you get a chance to, and they're rare and few and far between, where you can just take a step back and kind of breathe it in. All the ambiance and the pomp and circumstance that Nebraska has in spades, it's really kind of a cool thing. So every now and again, you just got to take a step back and kind of breathe it in for a little bit and really soak it up, because not everybody gets the opportunity to do what we do, and I truthfully appreciate everything that we've got going. Cool.
What about Caleb, your kicker? You missed his
Pickering?
Missed his first.
Barrett?
Or Barrett, yes, Caleb. Okay. Barrett, your kicker, just missing his first kick. How do you kind of coach him up this week and get him ready?
Well, it was a real simple issue in terms of his plant foot was out in front of the football, which forced his body to push the ball to the right. He had good distance, good leg on it, but he's just got to be a little more consistent with his approach and things like that. Not let it change up depending upon where in the field. His approach has got to stay the same, and he was literally off by 6 inches. That was a difference in terms of his plant foot in his third or fourth step, getting his plant foot down and following through with the football, and that's what forced him to push it to the right.
Did he take it very hard, missing his first one?
You know, the cool thing about Barrett is that he's as level-headed a guy as you've met, and so we practice every now and again about last-second field goals and rushing out bonsai and those kind of things, and we get those guys out on the field, and we're like, so where do you want the ball? He goes, we'll just put it out in the field. We'll be fine. You know, so he's as level-headed a kid as I've been around from that standpoint, so that's really refreshing.
Anything else for Coach?